Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to Healing Journeys. I'm Christelle Ahia. I'm a spiritualist, healer, and on this channel I share content related to indigenous knowledge systems and in particular those of Africa and African diasporas. In this video today, I would like to share some insight related to, on the one hand, African knowledge systems and African spiritualities, and on the other hand, the process of decolonizing and how the two go together, how you need to embrace decolonizing process, like an individual, a personal decolonizing process, in order to further embrace or deepen your knowledge, your practice, your ways of living in harmony and balance according to African knowledge systems and even more generally indigenous knowledge systems across the globe, right? So, um, by decolonizing, yes, it is very important to look at it from an intellectual perspective, like knowing what it is about. Like there are many scholars, activists, people of knowledge who have been writing about it, speaking about it, doing actions, teaching about it, and it is important to um, like learn from them, um, access their content, the knowledge that they have created for all of us. It's important to understand um, like where we are all coming from, because here I would like to highlight that even if here on this channel I put the emphasis on African knowledge systems and those of the diaspora, um, it's important to keep in mind that the decolonizing process, it's not only necessary and beneficial for us, people of African descent. It is a process that I believe, and I'm not the only one in that case, maybe you too, it's a process that is needed for all of us, no matter of our like origin and backgrounds. It's a process that we are all invited to embrace. Um, we often tend to forget that even in the West, people used to have like their own, let's say, native indigenous practices that are not uh, what they are living with nowadays, right? And so this is also important to acknowledge for even people who have like ascendants, like in places, countries that are now considered part of the Western world. So this is one thing. So it's important to look at, the second thing is that it's important to look at the decolonizing process on intellectual level. I've already mentioned it. So I believe that like continuous education in that order is really important. And here is what I would like to highlight. It's not only the only way to approach the decolonizing process. And here is an invitation to not only consider decolonizing as an intellectual process, it is also very important to embody it, like to like decolonize our body, like physically, and physically it also implies our brain, more generally our nervous system, more globally, like the way it functions, the way we process, the way we are, like the perspective that we use to look at what we do, how we speak, how we connect with each other, how we interact with each other, how we use even the medias, how we even use social media. Um, yeah, this is very important. And how we speak, meaning also the languages that we speak. And here I would like to share like a personal insight that I often share with people around me, especially if you have uh, like ascendants in West Africa. I'm not that much familiar and knowledgeable about other parts of Africa, so here I would like to, let's say, put the emphasis on West Africa. Um, People have always spoken. Oh, sorry, I had like a like something happened in my background, and I was like looking at it at the same time. Sorry, like people in West Africa have had this practice of speaking several different languages, learning from each other, interacting with each other, um, like across time and space. So, learning and practicing several languages, it's also like part of your inheritance, it's part of the heritage. And I think it's important. And I know that it's also the case in other parts of the African continent. So, of course, my encouragement is for us to learn and practice African and African based languages. If it's not possible at the moment for you, my invitation is still to have this habit, to incorporate this habit of learning and practicing several languages. It will necessarily help you, support you in even learning other languages and languages of Africa or African based languages. So it's at least important to have the practice. Um, this is something I wanted to share. And this is also part of the decolonizing process. And even when we look at it that way nowadays, uh, many of us, like either we are on the African continent in the diaspora or when we are part of the recent diaspora, uh, we don't necessarily practice African languages or African based languages. We all speak other languages. So, meaning that even when you go now to the African continent, uh, it is still helpful to speak at least French and English, for instance, or even English and Portuguese to interact with people. So, this is also something that we can keep in mind when we go to the continent or when we go to the diaspora. Then we also have Spanish, which is also prevalent, like especially on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, and it can be Dutch as well, and so on. So yeah, this is an invitation just to enlarge our perspectives and our practices, and practicing that with our bodies. So I've mentioned languages, there is also the foods, the cooking, the way we cook, the way we eat, right? We can have this practice of uh, like integrating more of food that are part of the African and African diaspora food habits. We also have like what we do with our body, and this I think of movement, right? You know, if you are familiar with me on this channel, you know that I'm a fan of moving, and in particularly what is called dancing. Well, I'd rather speak of physical expression because it is that from our African knowledge systems. This is what we do, and this is really important. I also think of the music that we listen to, right? Even if you don't speak any languages of Africa or African-based languages, you can still listen to music in those languages, right? And then you hear like those languages, and your body, your physical body, like your anatomy, your like your ear get used to it. And this is also important. This is part of decolonizing, not only listening to languages that are not, let's say, grounded in our ancient history. We also have the options, especially nowadays with internet and all that we can find there, to also listen to other languages. So I spoke of moving. This is really, really important, right? To incorporate uh, this in your practice of decolonizing as much as the intellectual work that we do. It can also go through the way that you dress, I don't know, your hairstyle, the way that you decorate where you live or where you work, for instance, and so on. And all of that, so I've mentioned all of these practices as part of the decolonizing process. They will support your path, your way of embracing or deepening your journey into African knowledge systems and African-based spiritualities and those of the diaspora as well. It goes together, right? We do need like the spiritual practices, and we do also need like things that we can incorporate easily in our daily lives, in our like as daily habits, like eating, for instance, listening to some music. These are things that we can do easily everywhere, that we can take with us wherever we go. And so it's like reinforce our spiritual practices, the our will to learn more, learn further, like what our ancestors and have left us with. So this is my invitation. And with that, I would like to end the video with a reminder. We have a newsletter for our upcoming program, Ancestral Connection. We will start in March this year, so like in let's say roughly 3 months. The newsletter is for you to get like further information on this program. The program has not started yet. You will be able to register soon. I'm working on it. First, very soon, like at the end of this month, at the end of January, you will be able to attend some informative online session where I will like dive deeper, explain more about the program, what it is about, what we're going to do together, who is it for, and so on. But you can already register to the newsletter, because before like organizing the online informative sessions, I will share like content related to the program via the newsletter. So that's why it's important to first register to the newsletter. The link is here in the description, like down the video. Then I will also add for you a link to a video, like an let's say introductory video about the program, so you can already get familiar with this program. And my encouragement is like before registering, it's also why I share like different content about this program. It's an invitation to check with yourself if you already have a practice of interacting with your ancestors, like check with your ancestors, your guide, if this program is for you, if it's for you at this moment, if the format is for you. So you have time to like check and see with yourself and organize yourself accordingly to be able to join the program. I really hope and wish to see some of you there. I'm really looking forward to starting this program. Like I've been preparing myself to organizing, launch it, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to do that with you. And especially, I would like to mention that the program will come with a retreat that we will have together, like a physical retreat, like we will join all together. It will be somewhere in Europe, and it is like I will share with you more, like in the online informative session, like where it's going to be, when it's going to be, and what we're going to do, because all of that has already been organized. Like I've already received what we're supposed to do there. So I'm really looking forward to see you joining the program and also joining the informative session and of joining the newsletter, joining the channel. So yeah, that's all for me. Let's take care of ourselves and of each other. See you soon.